have this one-on-one discussion. We had a good response from the last webinar, and we were very happy. And I think last webinar when your partner joined in, it was the best webinar so far. The first question, which is, can you just let us know about a bit about yourself and your role in 𝐒𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬
my background is actually from aquaculture. There is an overlap between aquaculture and agriculture, but I started working in aquaculture in 2012. So originally I wanted to do something totally different when it comes to 3D modeling and so on, but I figured out like going into this field is very competitive, and if I'm going to look at my own creative skill, it's quite mediocre. So yes, I was better than most people when it comes to it, but not good enough to compete in this industry. So I get a summer job in 2012 as an aqua technician in a remote fjord in Finnmark. And after this summer, I really enjoyed the subject. It was like it's practical, you're out there in the ocean and you're working with real stuff. So I got so inspired. I'm like, can I stay here? And they said, yeah, sure, we need workers. And I think that was the best decision I did in my life. Ending my study in 3D animation and starting working in biology. And when I start working there, because there's so high demand for aqua technician in that time, they paid for my education while I were working. So really great opportunity for me. I could have just continued stay there, but I felt there was a chapter I didn't finish in my life. So after 5 years of working in aquaculture, I went back to study, and this time I chose innovation, marketing, and leadership. So my goal was, I was so inspired by the sector of aquaculture, so I wanted to find new species to commercialize and start producing, because when you are out there working at the sea, you see so many interesting fishes, seaweed, and other species in the sea I wanted to commercialize. So I went to the biggest city in northern Norway, Tromsø, to study my bachelor degree. During my study, we learn a lot of method to think more critically about your business plan. And I realized that those ideas I had were not bad, but the competition to start it and all the development to get this running and make it a viable business was too hard at this time. I think it's starting to be possible to do right now. But at that time, I thought, no. I don't go into a competition if my chances is low to win. And I think that's true in general. Yeah. When you're taking risk, you need to mitigate the risk. You need to analyze the field you're going to fight on and see, do I have a chance to win? There is one place for being brave, but I think you need to be brave with caution and analyze. When I go into the fight, I already plan into my mind how I'm going to win. And I realized those business ideas I had first were not bad, but I didn't possess the resources to go in there to win.
Yeah.
During my study, I met my co-founder, Petter. And Petter had working on something really interesting. So you see in my hand, this is actually like an old sample, but this is a reagent. He had been studying Hawaii before he went to Tromsø, where he spent 8 years working on reading DNA. And to be able to progress in his work, he needed to solve his problem. And that problem were that the chemical environment where you're trying to extract the DNA from damaged the DNA. And with a damaged DNA, you cannot read the DNA. So he made this reagent, which is in this bottle. You also see there is a guava leaf in this bottle too. Yeah. But he spent 4 years finding a solution just to get successful DNA extraction. And during the study, he was looking for a co-founder, and he was looking at me. He was like, that guy has no shame when it comes to interacting with people. I need such a person at my team. Yeah. So in 2019, the Christmas at 2019, he invited me for a meeting. Like both me and my co-founder, we are big fans of board games. So it was actually through board game we met, because we love strategy game, like playing against each other and so on. And I think like my passion for board game is very useful when you're doing startup too. So, but yeah, we met at the board game club, and he said, I have an interesting proposal for you. We both have talked about all your business ideas, and let's admit it, they are mediocre. And I'm like, yes, they absolutely are. But I have hidden for a long time an invention I have been working on. And then he told about this reagent that helps to extract DNA more successful. And then I was thinking, if this might be the project I should join, because I have a lot to learn when it comes to making business, to make a startup and so on. So if I go in competition where everybody else can compete, I don't have the time to learn to be a good business developer before we get out-compete. But if you have a unique technology that nobody else can make, and hopefully we're going to have a patent, we have the time to evolve ourselves and then also evolve the product. So I was like, yes, I'm going to join. Yeah. But you know what happened in 2020?
COVID.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So when we launched the company the next year, COVID happened, and it was impossible to reach out to people.
Yeah.
I think in hindsight that was actually very good for the company, because we were forced to, instead of just reaching out there and we needed to go to the drawing table. That's the resources what we had. We had pen and paper, and we had a recipe to make DNA extraction. So we worked more on the business model than reaching out. Yeah. When COVID opened again, we were both very exhausted for the time of COVID. So I would say when we start getting the business going again was in 2023, because after study I went back to work in aquaculture, and a really important part of having a successful startup is also taking care of yourself. And you need to have a lifestyle where you can combine moving forward your startup and also being able to survive both mentally and financially. Yeah. And when I went back to aquaculture, in aquaculture we work in a way where we have 7 day on and 7 day off. Yeah. And this was the perfect lifestyle to run a startup from. And we got some funding in the beginning, but not significant enough to reach to the patent stage. But when we start working ourselves and having an income, we finally have the means to get things rolling. And I think, so in 2023, we started to travel outside of Norway and start shaking hands with people outside of Norway. And when we started to reach outside of Norway, finally starting to meet people who understood the potential of what we're working on. So, and that's also why I'm actually very interested to be part of the AgriNext Conference, just to meet people that might see the potential in what we are doing.
I think it would be a great platform to meet and collaborate. I was talking to your partner the other day, and the kind of insights that he had and the questions that he had in the webinar, I think they were completely different. They were new. And I think this is what this department or the sector needs right now. Agriculture, organic agriculture is fine. We are working on that. But technology, and I think the role of Wai Genetics, the company that you have, the agenda that you have, or the line of progression that you have, I think it would be our pleasure to have you in there, and also to have the insights from you and your co-founder. So I think, that would be great. Over to you.
So what we, at this moment, what we actually need is third-party verification, because we don't have, we are about to land the patent for the technology, but immediately when the patents start running, we need people to try it out. I think like when you're doing technology and science and so on, you need order to verify your claims. Like science is when I can give this technology to other researchers and they can replicate the same results, then it's science. If I say, like when we tried this on guava, we increased the extraction success from 9 to 92%. So that's 10-fold increasing the result. But if I'm saying that, that's not a strong claim. If I can give this reagent to 10 other plant researchers and they get similar result, this is science. So this is what I want to do right now. I want to get in touch with other researchers who can collaborate together with us and try this out.
Yes.
And from that point, when other is verifying what we're doing, we have a really strong claim, and I think that's crucial to break through into this market. Right now, we have only tested this reagent ourselves. One of the reasons we have only done it ourselves is because if you start publishing what you're doing before you have patent, you cannot go back and get a patent. So that's the difficult part of doing biotechnology and chemistry. You need to hide it until you have the patent pending. And for us right now, patent is the biggest expense we have. But we are just pushing on and trying to find solution how we can do the patent process as cost effective as possible. Right now, you met my co-founder Andrew last time.
Yeah.
So he is in Serbia together with my co-founder Petter right now, because in Norway everything is super expensive. So it's like when you are trying to rent something in Norway, just add 3 zeros behind. But if you take a plane ticket away from Norway to Serbia or somewhere else country, you can rent the lab for cheaper. So for us, it's cheaper for us travel to Serbia, stay there for 3 months and renting a lab there than trying to do something in Norway. So I think like if you want to be a biotech startup, leveraging like the global opportunity, I think is really crucial. Because different countries have different strengths and weaknesses, and if you know where to go at the right time, you can make your startup more cost effective.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for that. It was something that I really want to talk about. The introduction itself says a lot of story of Wai Genetics, how you guys started, where you are right now, and I think it would be a great insight to give on to the people who are joining AgriNext. Moving to the second question, we'll wind up very, very quickly over here. Since you have told us about the company, the mission, what are you doing in this industry, I just want you to highlight some of the key projects or innovations that you are currently working on, and what are some of the biggest challenges, because nobody talks about the challenges that you face on this race. So what are the innovations that you're working on, and what are the biggest challenges that you faced in advancing this sort of company or becoming the level of company you are right now? So can you just give us an insight about that too?
Yeah, let's talk about the challenge. No, let's first talk about the project we are working on now. So our main priority right now is just to get the patent. And to get the patent, we are right now doing a lot of documentation on how it works. We have already tried this DNA reagent on 70 other species, but this time we are more systematic when it comes to the documentation process. So when we are filing the patent, we have a strong body of evidence and it's documented in a really good way so the patent lawyer can understand it better. So right now we are extracting DNA from sherry, from wine leaf, and we also extracting DNA from parasitic fungi from crops like corn and wheat and so on. We have other projects that we want to work on. Like my background is in aquaculture. In aquaculture, there is water is a scarce limit. More and more aquaculture plants starting utilizing water recycling system. And in the water recycling system, they have a bioreactor where they have bacteria which transform the waste gases and waste from the fish so you can recycle the water. So this is called recycling aquaculture system. When I were working in aquaculture, my job was to collect this information, like collect the pH of the water, the gas distribution of the water, and so on. Because if something goes wrong with the bioreactor, you're going to lose all your fish. So it's so important to always monitor the gases in the water. What we want to do, we want to leverage our technology to read DNA, RNA, and cell information to start monitoring the bacteria who is performing the recycling of the water. To achieve this, we need pilot customers to work with. So we have people in the backlog that we are talking to, but it's really hard to land a project. So when we are doing things only ourselves, it's very easy. Like we just go to a vineyard and collect some leaves and then start extracting DNA from it and analyzing. But when we are depending on other, it takes forever to get like a project going on. We are a very small biotech startup. We are mostly bootstrapped. That means we have financed it from our own money. So when you are really small, insignificant startup, it's very, very hard to go out there and talk to the bigger players that we need to try this out. So we are pushing on, of course, and we are keeping the doors open. But I think we need to build more reputation for bigger actor to accept trying with us. And I also think immediately when the patents start working, we're going to contact different university and say, hey, we really need people to try this out and giving us like a resume how it works. And from that point, where we have a university, wherever in the world, saying, this is the result, we are getting more legitimacy to go to bigger player and let them try us out. So I would say to get to the core of our challenges, our biggest challenge right now is to be taken serious with the bigger player and allowing them to work together with us and let them try it out. We're going to find those in the end. We are very persistent with finding those people. So I'm using. So I think universities all around the world are interesting to work with right now to get this. So if we say 99% of the universities in the world are just postponing or outreach, but there's one university who say, hey, we're going to try this out. This will be our entry for later expanding into the rest of the market. Because we need, what matters is those who say yes. And those who said not yet, they will come later.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Thank you so much for giving your insight in here as well for this question. And I think the more I talk about, the more I ask about, the more details and insight you give in. And it is really nice to see a company growing day by day, the challenges, the kind of challenges you face, the kind of things you're planning to. In regards to that, I direct you the next question, which is, you have told us that these are the things that you're planning to do. You are planning to have new projects very, very soon. I just want to ask, are there any specific strategic goals that you plan in for, let's say, coming next 5 years or 10 years from here on that you're working on, or do you have any strategic goals to meet right now in the next 5 to 10 years?
So should I talk about what we wish happens, or should we talk about what is more likely to happen?
You can talk about both. So it would be something that you plan on, that yes, in 5 years I see Wai Genetics in this position, or I plan to have these kind of resources or these kind of things in Wai Genetics. Of course, you're joining AgriNext, so this would also be a good platform to collaborate, and probably if some kind of collaboration happens. So what are your goals in coming next to 5 to 10 years?
So right now, how we see the plan for our startup, we are right now in Serbia. We are collecting evidence for the result. We are documenting it properly. And we are hoping to get the patent working this year. I say we always need to be prepared that things takes longer time than planned. So it's like when we are planning this, it's like if something happens, if we don't have the funds to file the patent at that moment, we always need to put ourselves in a position where things takes more time. But we are pushing really hard to get the funds to get the patent and doing the patent process right now. And I believe when we get the patent working, for 3 weeks ago, we were producing a new batch of this reagent. And this batch, our goal is to start working together with research institution and university and let them try this out. And our market strategy is to be part of research publications. So imagine if there is a university or multiple university publishing the result they was able to get with this reagent. I think this would be really strong marketing. The proof will be in the pudding, they say. And I think that's the strongest marketing. Within biotech, for many years ago, there was a very infamous situation where there were a female founder who tried to make a startup reading blood. You have heard about Theranos?
Sorry, what?
There is a startup called Theranos many years ago. And this case, they were promising a lot and was spending all the investor money just trying to make a hype. And after they figured out they didn't have any product, I think a lot of investors got afraid for going into biotech. And I think like what we're working on is also a really outrageous claim. Improving the extraction success on difficult sample from 9 to 92%. It's outrageous. Of course, this is on very difficult sample. So I think what we need to do, we need to prove the efficiency on what we are working on. And at that time, when other people, that you have third-party researchers validating our claim, I think we can be we are more believable when we reach out. Like what we are going to sell on is going to be the result. So that's what we need right now. Focusing on getting the patent and finding other who can confirm our claims. That's very important. I think when we are able to confirm our claims, that there will be it will be easier to reach out to other universities.
Yeah.
And at that time, when we have confirmed our claims, we can start selling our product. It's really easy to scale the production on what we are doing. But with a nuance, one of the reasons we are going into agriculture and aquaculture is because we need less certification to go into this industry. If we go into human medicine, we need very, very expensive certification to start working. But in agriculture, we can solve a lot of pain because food production, it matters. Food security, it matters. So we believe our solution to read DNA more efficient, we can increase the food security around the world. One of my inspiration for what we're doing is a guy called Norman Borlaug. He received the Nobel Prize in Peace in 1972 for his work in breeding new, more resilient grain. And our ambition is to do the same. We want to make a tool that you can get more genetic insights in the grain or the fruits you are growing. So you can speed up the breeding process and you can tailor the plant to handle the local environment or the diseases and so on. So, so our plan for agriculture is to get researchers the tools to be able to more efficient breed new plants. And yes, my ambition there is to that in different countries we can secure the food.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of places around the world. We see the temperature is getting warmer, which gives both benefits and a lot of challenges.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say mostly challenges. And we hope that with better genetic insight, we can mitigate the consequences of these increased heat. That you can start growing crops more resilient to the heats and so on. And with this, gain more food security.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And regarding the temperature, the kind of global warming right now we have on this planet, I'm not sure if you're aware of it or not. India has recorded one of the hottest days in these summers. So it was around 52 degrees Celsius here in India. So yeah, again, that affects the crop, that affects the food that we eat, and we depend on, like here in India or all around the globe, 80% of the population depends on what we eat on agriculture. So I think this advancement is required within this field. Coming up to our last question, winding up this interview. I know you are very excited to meet us in the event. Do you have any specific things or you're hoping to gain or achieve something from participating in the AgriNext Conference 2024? Anything that you have in mind?
Okay, so when I plan to go to the AgriNext, if I get lucky to be able to go, I'm imagining a scenario where I start talking with the head of a university somewhere around the world, and I'm presenting what I'm working on and saying, hey, this reagent that I'm working on will make your researcher access more genetic data, more efficient, and you can increase the breeding program growing new crops. Yeah. And this head of the department saying, this is really interesting. Is it ready to use? Yes, it's absolutely ready. Let's talk together and make a plan to try it out.
Mm-hmm.
And from that situation, we got a connection who wants to work with us, who want to try it out. We take a trip together to their university, let them try it out. And from this situation, things start rolling and going, and we can be part of contributing to more efficient genetic insights.
Yes, and that I think that's what AgriNext is all about. It's a meeting and collaboration setup for you guys. By ending this very, very sweet and short interview.